Greetings class, I wanted to provide an additional video for you about the syllabus as we've rolled through it pretty quick this morning. So I'm going to go through this briefly again today, and I want to talk about the syllabus and show you the assignments. If you'll go to the syllabus area, you can click on it there and you'll see me here. Here's the syllabus, and it's got my information. I want to encourage you to explore your professor's profiles and see what those people are like. Here's how you get a hold of me. You can call this number, but they'll just take a message. There is no direct phone number there, so email is the best. And here's information about the mandatory face covering policy. I will ask that you do wear your face mask the entire time for class, and that you keep your mouth and your nose covered at all times if possible. And I've already sent you some information in the announcements about what's expected on the first day of class and when you come into class. Here is the course materials, and you will need the book, the course textbook. Please note that there are two books called Dimensions of Human Behavior. The one for this class is called the Changing Life course, which makes sense because that's what we're going to talk about, is life from birth to death. So that's the topic of this class, and that's what we're going to be talking about. So the course text is the Changing Life course. You want to read the description of the course content very closely. What we're going to be looking at in this class is the human being from birth, and actually from conception, all the way to our passing. It's a very interesting course. I think you'll enjoy it. I think you'll be able to relate in different areas and have interesting discussions. And so for that reason, it's one of my favorite classes. Please read your student learning outcomes for detail. These are the things that you're going to be and can expect to learn in this class. We're going to talk about different things that will enhance your critical thinking skills, your communication skills, how to study, what to study, when to study. Those kinds of things are all kind of part of your learning process in this class. And so while we won't cover those topics very specifically, that will be sort of the outcome of your participation in this class. For social work students, please be mindful, for everyone in the class really, that I will be using social work jargon. I will be using social work examples. Confidentiality is expected for all in the class, and that what we say in class stays in class. And I think that's important for each one of us to feel safe in the class. It doesn't mean that, we are a counseling session for people, but if you do need some special assistance, if you will see me outside of class. However, we will talk about things that are related to you and me personally, because you can't talk about the life course without talking about ourselves in a more personal manner. So we just make sure that we're respectful of one another in that way. Here are the things that a social work student or an intended social work student might be considering, and that are these competencies. And the Council of Social Work Education has mandated us, because we are an accredited social work program, and we have accreditation from the Council of Social Work Education. So they say these are the policies and standards that you have to have in class, and these are the things that you agree to teach. This particular class focuses on a couple of areas in diversity and difference in practice, which is generally covered across the board in this class. It's not a specific topical diversity class, but those discussions and issues and things like that will be coming up in this class, as well as we're going to learn about assessing individuals, families, groups, organizations, and communities. And assessment means we're going to be taking in those topics and understanding people and humans in their environment better. We'll be looking at people from a biological perspective, a psychological perspective, a sociological perspective, and an emotional perspective. You'll understand more about that after our first lecture next Tuesday. But that's where we're going with this. We're looking at the whole person. And here are the competencies as they are detailed. Here are the major assignments and examinations. We have quizzes in this class. There are 10 quizzes. These quizzes are based on the course text and things that we talk about in class, but primarily the course text. The quizzes stay open all semester, although there's a due date there so that you can see when things should be happening. If you are conscientious and you want to get a good grade, you would read every week and take the quiz at the end of the week. Also, all of this is topical related to your discussions and everything. So it all blends together really well if you can keep up with the course and do things at that pace. I don't think it's a fast-paced course. I think it's very evenly paced, and I think you'll appreciate that. The quizzes will stay open all semester, but there is a due date, and that's for your guidance. However, there are 2 chances on the quizzes. So each quiz gives you a second chance, and so you will be able to, if you don't do well the first time, you can go back and look in the course text and find the information. And I believe this helps students learn. Other people may think that having 2 chances is a little bit too easy, but I don't. I would rather you be looking at the course text and finding the answer to know what the answer is. Discussions and reflections have 2 parts. I repeat, discussions have 2 parts, okay? So there's a discussion piece which will occur online in Canvas on Thursdays. So the way this class works is you will come to class in person, face-to-face at the MAC in our room. I believe it's 206. We will all meet together. You will be spread out in your respective seats, and you will listen probably to a lecture, and we may do a little bit of open discussion as well. Then on Thursdays, you will meet online. So we will all meet as a group in Canvas conferences, which is already there. You should have already received an invitation. If you don't receive an invitation, look in Canvas conferences, and it should be there for you to see. There should already be a few set up for you in Canvas conferences. Be careful about which day you're looking at because they kind of look backwards sometimes. So it may start with the last first. Just be sure you're looking at the correct day that the Canvas conference is posted there because they moved them backwards for me. So, not that I requested that, but anyway, that's how they do it. Okay, so you'll have the group discussion in the mornings on Thursdays, and then you'll have a written part of that discussion, okay? The written piece of that discussion is after that. So you discuss in Canvas on your group, and then there's a written piece of it that has a different prompt, okay? I've provided a topic for your group discussion. I've also already put your groups together. You don't need to form your own group. I've already put it together. So after the Canvas conference, then you will go to the assignments area, click there, you'll find the discussion there, the written portion, and you'll follow the instructions there. If you have questions, let me know. So again, discussions have 2 parts, okay? A part 1 and then a part 2. So I've put here part 1 is conferencing during class, okay, in your group. And this is part 2. It's the written piece. All right. There are 10 of those. You also have a group presentation. This presentation will be done online. You'll be videoing a PowerPoint online or providing a PowerPoint recorded online with every person in the group must participate. There's additional instructions in the assignments area about the group presentation. I believe all of you can do very well on the group presentation. Do not worry about this. This is not about, how great of a presenter you are or those kinds of things. You will be expected to perform and to do your best. But, basically, I want to know if you can be somewhat creative and somewhat inventive in your small group. Not just regurgitating the course text, but can you add to it? Can you do some outside research on a topic for your group presentation that will allow the class to learn something? Okay, that's what I'm expecting. Not that we go through the course text and just cut and paste it into a PowerPoint, but that you use the course materials and then you also go and research outside materials and include it in your presentation on a specific age group. It'll all come together, I promise, when you get there. If you have any questions about that, you as a group can conference with me or we can email. Okay, you also have a case study. This is where you will take a person. It can be a fictional person. It can be a person from a movie. It could be yourself. It could be somebody you know. You will take that person and you will describe them according to what we learn in class. So you will describe them from a biological perspective, a psychological perspective, an emotional perspective, and a spiritual perspective. And here is the grading rubric for that. Here's the class grading information. So you will see everything adds up to 100 points. However, if you do extra credit, you could get more than 100 points. You have to complete these other tasks to get extra credit. You don't get to replace the group presentation and do some extra credit instead. That's not going to work. You have to complete all of the expected requirements in the course in order to get extra credit. Late assignments, all late assignments get a 5-point deduction for the assignment overall across the board first time it's late. Be careful because you don't want to wait until 11:57 to start your discussion or 11:57 to turn something in if it's due at 11:59. Because what will happen is your computer will stall, something won't work, and then it'll be late. 12 o'clock, 12:01, it's late. All right? So just be careful about that. Try to get things done on time. There's no makeup exams because there are no exams. They're all quizzes and they get 2 chances. There is no midterm and no final in this class because you have a group presentation and a case study paper. Okay, here's the rest of the information from the university. This is very standard in all of your syllabi. If you have questions about these, let me know. If any of the links that you need aren't working, let me know. And there's additional information. I want to get down here to the librarian, the School of Social Work. We have our own librarian, and her name is Brooke Troutman. And so you would contact her. She's our contact with the library specifically. Here is our course schedule. We already had our first day of class today. Yay. Everybody did great. It was awesome meeting everyone. And here are the due dates. And so you'll see that I have written discussion here. But what this means is, so on Tuesdays, you come to class and I'm going to lecture. So think about Tuesdays as lecture in class day, and think about Thursdays as Canvas conference day. And in Canvas conference, you go to the conference with me, and then after that, once we check in, you'll go to your group area and have your conference there. If any of that is not working or doesn't go well, we can rearrange, but that's how it's going to go right now. All right? So in class on Tuesdays, online on Thursdays. So here you have, on Thursdays, you'll have your conference, but you'll also have your written discussion. If you'll notice here, the written discussion is due the next Tuesday. Okay?